Good evening, everyone. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, some news from today just gets more and more bonkers. Listen, I'm not making this up. Obviously, you can go and fact check me. Ex-British Prime Minister in the United Kingdom is calling for a revolution. Now, that's not me making it up. That's out on that. I mean, she said it. I'm not making it up. Like, she literally said it. Obviously, I'm talking about Liz Truss there. She's calling for a revolution in the United Kingdom. Hamza Yusuf in Scotland has put the Palestinian flag up over the Scottish, I believe it's the Scottish Parliament buildings. Look, ladies and gentlemen, right? Like, you guys have been following me for a while, all right? I can remember, right, I can remember Rotherham Council, right, they took down the Union flag because they said it was offensive to some of the locals in Rotherham. I'm not making this up, ladies and gentlemen, all right? Trust me, I don't live, I guess I still live in that borough. So they took down the Union flag outside Rotherham Council because they said it was offensive to some minorities. Whatever, I don't care. I don't go to Rotherham, you know, whatever, all right? They took it down. It is what it is. Then, when the Ukraine war started, well, when the 2022 invasion of Ukraine happened, they put a Ukrainian flag up that was like, it must have been twice the size of the original Union flag. It was fantastic. But now it seems that in Scotland, they're putting up the Palestinian flag. So listen, I hope Scotland, you know, I hope Scotland volunteers to take all the Palestinians. You guys can go to Scotland. Get where it's nice and chilly, guys, you Palestinians. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to business. All right. Just let me expand on that actually before we move on. I think the only flag that should be flown on British council buildings is the Union flag. Nothing else. If you're in England, doesn't matter. I think you should only fly the Union flag on council buildings. If you're in Scotland, I think you should only be able to fly the Union flag. If you're in Wales, you should only be able to fly the Union flag. Northern Ireland, you should only be able to fly the Union flag. Not the St. George's Cross in England. And I get that, guys, but listen, we are a country, all right? Yes, of course you can fly. Everybody should have the ability and should be encouraged, I think, to fly the Cross of St. George. But over council buildings, government buildings, honestly, guys, like, I think it's disgusting, disrespectful, and embarrassing, quite frankly, that governments, all of the local governments, local councils, especially Scotland, you know, right now, Scotland they have the Palestinian flag over their parliament buildings. Also, ladies and gentlemen, assassins are what's the beginning of the Communist Manifesto? A foul spectre stalks Europe, or something like that. Literally, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you guys have been watching the news, but 7 people from the AfD party, 7 people from the AfD party in Germany, just before the election, have died of mysterious causes. Now, look, guys, maybe they've just been on a bad diet. Maybe they've just been overrun and they have, I don't know, overworked themselves. Or maybe there's something else to play here. So if you're in the United Kingdom, contextually, this is like running up to the next election. It's like 7 candidates from Reform just croaking it just before the election. I mean, it's so close to the election in Germany, their names were already on the paper. Unbelievable, guys. So we are going to be talking about that. Anyway, guys, right, I've got a short video to play here. So this is, I'm talking about Liz Truss now. So listen, do not think that I'm going to forget Angela Rayner. I'm not going to forget Angela Rayner, guys. I wouldn't do that to you, would I? Do you think I'd do? Look, I don't want her to get the sack. She is literally the gift that keeps giving. Angela Rayner is the gift that keeps giving. But something deep inside of me is saying she is going to be the lamb for the slaughter. People want blood, and I think they're going to give her Angela Rayner. I might be wrong, but let's see what happens. So, Liz Truss calls for a Trump-style revolution in the UK after blaming the Bank of England for her downfall. I've got a short podcast here, guys. Let's just see what she's saying. You guys don't need to listen to ads, right? I'll listen to the ads. I'll do the ads. It's 24 seconds. Right, let's not worry about that. I'll get some questions first. Good evening, everyone. The chat's open. I don't know where it's going. Liberty is saying, where do you think it's most likely for these schools to, oh God, I wouldn't like to guess. Obviously, like initially, I want to say London area, but you know, your guess is as good as mine. As I understand it, there was a school somewhere in lockdown today, actually. I don't know if anyone can shine any light on that, but I think today in the United Kingdom, there was a school on lockdown. I can't remember where it was. I may be wrong. It may have been yesterday, but I'm pretty sure today there was a school on lockdown because that school received threats. So, you know, I wouldn't like to guess where it's most likely. I mean, I want to say London. I want to say Birmingham. I want to say a big city. But the reality is it could be anywhere. And that's unfortunately the new world we're living in. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play you where Liz Truss is calling for a revolution in the United Kingdom. Let's see what she's got to say. I've not listened to this.
You were captain of the ship. We'd had a decade and a half of very low rates, juiced further by an enormous amount of borrowing during the pandemic. And I would argue anyone involved in the markets knew that our finances were in a perilous state. So you have to gauge how much of a risk you take with them. And to say, you know, the LDI problem wasn't my fault would be like the captain of the Titanic saying, it's not my fault that there are icebergs out there.
You know, you said I was captain of the ship. The fact is I wasn't captain of the ship because I wasn't running monetary policy. The Bank of England were running monetary policy. I'm very happy to take responsibility for things, provided I have the full ability to actually control them. I didn't have the ability to control them. The fact is, the Bank of England, whereas they go out of their way to support what Rachel Reeves is doing, and you can see that with things like the interest rate cut, even though inflation was going up, they went out of their way to blame me.
Right, that was not Liz Truss calling for a revolution. I think that's clickbait. I've just clicked on some clickbait there, guys. Sky News are throwing out clickbait. So the article was Liz Truss calls for a Trump-style revolution. I thought that was gonna every time I talk about every time. Honestly, every time I start talking about stuff like that, like I literally mentioned that word there beginning with R. Honestly, guys, I there's something in this. Listen, you guys that are watching on YouTube, like you guys saw that, right? I started talking about the R word, and all of a sudden, the screen went blank on TikTok. So TikTok shop is good. Go spend your money. Like, subscribe. TikTok shop good. TikTok shop good. TikTok shop good. Go check Showcase. TikTok shop good. That should keep the algorithm sweet for a little bit, guys. Right, hang on. Somebody up here has said something. I think it was James who was saying there was like, right, John Atkins is saying, oh, right, okay, so there was. Good. In fact, hang on. Right, there's loads of comments, guys. I am going to be missing quite a few comments tonight on. I am going to be missing quite a few comments here on TikTok. The TikToks are going crackers. John Atkins is saying was in Crewe and Cheshire. Yeah. So the lockdown in the primary school was in Crewe. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I've heard about. But I think it was James who was saying there's more. There we are. So James is actually saying, ladies and gentlemen, and I didn't realize this, and I'm just going with what James is saying here. Lots of schools went on emergency lockdown in Manchester and Cambridge, armed men on school premises. Listen, guys, it's like we know this is coming, and it's literally like playing roulette with your kids, isn't it? You know, you send them to school and you're like, oh, where do we go with this? But look, guys, this is nothing good comes right now, guys. You know, nothing good comes right now. So let's talk about Angela Rayner real quick. All right. So she was on the news earlier. She was almost crying, bless her. She was like a blubbering little wreck. Like, honestly, I almost expected Angela Rayner to come out and say, I don't know. They just told me to sign these pieces of paper and I'd get a free house, and I didn't know what we're on. I'm honest. I didn't look what we're on. I can't even read. I can't even read. I were up duff at 16. No, I don't even know what a GDSE is. I think my uncle got one, but he was 24 and he said it's an O level. But now I've got these big shoes. Look at these big shoes. No, they're not heels. They've just got a 4-inch sole. Ooh. Like, honestly, I'm like, right, okay. So we literally have, right? So we literally have, right now in the United Kingdom, we have a deputy prime minister who doesn't understand. We have a deputy prime minister in the United Kingdom who doesn't understand how the tax laws work in this country. Like, I wonder how many more of them don't understand how the tax laws work. I mean, like, I wonder how many, I wonder what else she doesn't understand. Honestly, it's like, listen, I don't want her to go. Please, guys, let's not get rid of Angela Rayner. Let's not get rid of Angela Rayner, guys, okay? Miss T saying, what's in those carbonated drinks? Listen, Miss T, it's just the prospect or the spectre of Angela Rayner leaving government. I'd be mortified. Half of my content's about Angela Rayner. I'd be gone. Sorry, guys. Let me scroll up. Right, ladies and gentlemen, that is the crux of this live stream. So we have got a scenario now in the United Kingdom where ex-Prime Minister Liz Truss is calling for a Trump-style revolution. We've also got like, and I don't know any other words how to frame this, but it does look it does look like maybe we've got assassins cruising around in Germany. So let me just play this video, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I've not listened to this video, but 7 candidates for Germany's AfD party, which is like a far right party. Now, they want to close the borders. They want mass deportations. But 7 candidates have mysteriously transcended into a beam of light before the election. Now, I don't know if this is coincidence. I don't know what the odds of that are. 7 of them. But let's just play the video and see what's been happening.
I read 4 German AfD candidates who were supposed to sit in the elections died suddenly. 4 politicians that are a part of the AfD in Germany, which supports mass deportations. 4 of them died unexpectedly. I woke up today and it was 6 AfD politicians died suddenly. In the last hour, it is now 7 AfD politicians died suddenly.
So there we have this peculiar situation in Germany, and it's going to be really interesting to see which way the media goes on this, whether the media looks into this or whether they don't. But 7 German politicians who were for mass deportations have now transcended to beams of light. Now, do you think that's a warning to reform? Do you think that's a warning to, well, do you know what, maybe not to reform. Do you think that's a warning to Rupert Lowe and his party? I mean, like 7 candidates of reform, that's reform gone. Like, it's unbelievable, guys. It's like, I don't even know where I go with that.
7 from one party in Germany which supports mass deportations. This is before key state elections. To put that into perspective, imagine any party in your country, any one party had 7 of their politicians die suddenly before an election, especially when they're the opposition. Just before elections, a party that's been gaining a lot of traction in Germany. 7 candidates.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are darker forces here. There really are. There's a lot more going on behind the scenes here than people can even begin. Listen, guys, a quick question, right? If 7 members of a political party died before an election, would you think it was coincidence, or would you think there was something else? Like, I don't know. I'm pretty convinced that there's something else behind this. And again, it's going to be really interesting to see where the media take this. If the media don't go anywhere with this, you know, it's a lot deeper than it's a lot deeper than people can understand. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am talking about transdimensional, interdimensional, all sorts of good versus evil sort of stuff that we frequently talk about when we cross over to YouTube. And on that bombshell, ladies and gentlemen, can you guys do me a real big favor? If you're watching this live stream, if you're watching on YouTube, if you're watching on X, if you're watching on TikTok, can you do me a real big favor? Hit the like, if you're watching on TikTok, the like buttons are out there somewhere. If you are watching on YouTube, they're like in one of those corners, the subscribe button, because that really helps me out as well. And if you're watching on X, then I genuinely have no idea where the follow button is on X. I started posting on X today, like sharing stuff and writing stuff, but I need to do more on on my X thing. Googly is saying migrant who assaulted a teenager thanks Britain for looking after him. Yeah, I mean, where would those criminals be if it wasn't for our fantastic hotel system? Xerox is saying this is like Russian people that jump out of windows, or their airplanes blow up when they're moving on short trips. Dean is saying sometimes it's best not to go down that rabbit hole. I don't know, Dean. I can't help going down these rabbit holes. I can't. Like, if you was on the live stream earlier on, when we jumped over to YouTube, or I think we were still on actually. We jumped over from YouTube, and while we was on YouTube, we went down some rabbit holes. We was talking about like aliens and crop circles and all sorts of crazy stuff, and we was kind of putting them together in real time. And then I'm not going to say this gentleman's name. I'm just going to pin his comment. He's saying it's 100% World Economic Forum sanctioned. The word I'm thinking about is red rum, but that would be spelled backwards. Carol is saying the boat boys are all lean, mean fighting machines. They are an army. So here's the thing, you know how we talk about these migrants coming over to the United Kingdom? Like, a lot of the places that these migrants are coming from, they have conscription. So they do have some military training. Now, look, guys, I can argue about competencies of different militaries around the world. And, you know, I can argue, I can argue with anyone. Like, get me your best subject matter expert, and if he's not saying the exact same thing as me, I'll argue with him or her. Now, what I'm getting at there is a lot of people that are coming to this country do have, because of the way their countries are set up, they will normally have conscription in that country. So they will have done 1, 2, maybe 3 years in the local military. Now, again, that doesn't really mean much. It doesn't mean we're getting like thousands of Jason Bournes or like, I don't know, who do you think of, like John Matrix or Rambo's, you know, but we are getting people who know how to use basic systems, who understand basic orders, you know, basic formations. So that's the type of people we're getting. Miss T is saying 300,000 in homes. Oh, hang on. Let me, where's that going? Oh no, that's not what Miss T's saying. Oh, sorry. I've got this thing where I look at a message. I think I know what it means, and my mouth just goes. What Miss T is saying is £300,000 homes being bought and given to people in small village with no amenity. Yeah. So I think what she's saying there is there's these new homes, and they're costing 300 grand a pop, and people are buying them. Well, I would suggest this is international investment companies are buying them, and then they're giving them to migrants. Do you know why they're giving them to migrants? Because they know the money's guaranteed. Coral Reefing is saying, can't even put what I want. What Coral Reefing is saying, can't even put what I want will have to message you. Oh, right, about time. Yeah, the TikTok algorithm's crackers, guys. It really is. But you know what? That's why we are triple streaming, ladies and gentlemen. We're triple streaming on YouTube, TikTok, and X. I'm a Real Raven 1 on all three of those fantastic platforms. And we are here today, guys, to guide everyone through the craziness that is the United Kingdom. And again, I talked about this earlier on, but I'm starting to see more and more people who are more and more people now who would identify themselves as a liberal. I'm seeing more of those people starting to come out and think, well, hang on a minute. I don't agree with what that person's, but this is what, you know, this is how it started. Yeah, that person's saying something I don't like. Get them arrested, put them in jail. Yeah. And then that person said something I kind of don't like. Yeah, get him in jail as well. And then something happens and they're like, that person said something that was actually funny. Now he's in jail. If I said something that I thought was funny, I could be in jail. Do you think? Yeah? Do you think that's how it works? Do you think that's how government takeovers work? It's unbelievable. Listen, I was watching is it Ben Shapiro or Ben Shapiro? He's a little Jewish guy. He talks really fast and it's kind of difficult to keep into. It's kind of difficult to like understand all the words he's throwing at you. And look, guys, I'll be quite clear. You know, I don't agree with everything Ben Shapiro, whatever his name is. I don't agree with everything he's been talking about, and I really don't. But I think he was on Fox News in the US, and he was talking about what's been happening in the United Kingdom, and it was phenomenal. It was phenomenal. And listen, shout out to Ben. I mean, I'm not throwing love Ben's way. I'm just saying, you know, I am kind of throwing love Ben's way. But look, I'm not saying I agree with everything he's saying. I'm just saying I saw him on Fox News. I think it was Fox News. And he was saying, and he just perfectly articulated what is happening in the United Kingdom. You know, he was saying that he mentioned Rotherham. He said that for 1,400 girls in Rotherham who've been... There's 1,400 girls in Rotherham, and they'd be stationed over here by Pakistani Muslims. If they come over from, you know, Ben Shapiro or Shapiro, you know how he goes on. You know, but what I'm getting at here is like the whole world are looking in at the United Kingdom right now. And look, guys, how many times, literally, in fact, like how many times have I been on here and said, I've got friends like in America, and they're telling me, they're saying, Sean, what's happening in the United Kingdom, it's painful to watch. Now, what's happening in the United Kingdom is making prime time on US TV. So, you know, when I said to you guys that there's going to be a US takeover, this is how it starts. You need to get that public opinion. You need to drive that public opinion. You need to build public opinion. Oh, look how bad things are in the United Kingdom. Look at the people in the United Kingdom fighting for their freedoms, fighting for their free speech. Do you know those people in the United Kingdom? They don't have a constitution. And this is what happens when you don't have a constitution. And I get it, guys. I do. I get it. There's a lot of subversion happening here. There's a lot, like massive amounts of subversion. Massive amounts of subversion. And probably, and you know what I'm saying, guys? You know when you're in a battle, you know when you're in the battlefield, right? When you're in the battlefield, if you're on the battlefield, right, and you're getting gunfire coming in from everywhere, right? Imagine, so you're in a section attack, you're a platoon, you're in Afghanistan, you're in wherever, you know, in Ukraine, you know, you come under contact, there's the enemy shooting at you, there's bombs going off, there's mortars going off, and you start shooting back, you know, you're like, right, two section right flanking, 3 sections covering fire, 1 section follow me, you know, and you go. When you're in that situation, you can't say, right lads, close in, these are not the real enemy, The real enemy is actually the government behind the scenes who are making them do this. So let's not fight these bad guys. Let's think about how we can hatch a plan to fight. We've took a casualty. Yeah, don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. We've took another casualty. Yeah, don't worry. The real threat, guys, the real threat is the bankers. But you can't do that. You've got to deal with the immediate threat, and then you've got to move forwards. So the immediate threat right now in the United Kingdom is letting our young girls feel safe and letting mums and dads feel safe as well. I've had a lot of questions from you guys asking about schools. Right, hang on a minute. We've got this guy here again. Right, hang on. Right, listen, mate, I don't know what your name is. It's in Arabic. And with all respect, you can stay on the channel, all right? If you're going to call me out or shout at me, all right, that's fine. Do it in an articulate, polite manner, all right? Don't say SYMBF, because I'll just delete you and I'll just mute you and then you won't have your say, all right? I'll try and get to everyone's comments. I will. So, if you want to change people's opinion, and I hope you do want to change people's opinion, and if you're watching on YouTube, there's a guy with Arabic. I can't read Arabic. I can speak Arabic, but I can't read it. Now, last time he was on the chat, he was very rude. He was very aggressive. Now, what I'm saying is, if you want to change people's opinion, and I welcome you to change people's opinion, I do. Present facts, give your opinion, which is fine, and let's have your side of the story. As I understand, you are from what I remember, you identify as a British Pakistani. But anyway, sorry guys, I digressed there. I just needed to make sure things weren't going south there, guys. I didn't want things to go south. Yes, of course you can argue against me. Don't be rude. Don't be rude, all right? And I'll try and get all the comments on TikTok. I'll try and get all the comments on TikTok, but there's a lot of comments on the chat, and I will miss a lot. I will miss a lot of those comments, so I do apologize. Anyway, guys, sorry, I totally digressed there. I needed to stop something before it started. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, that's how I roll. I roll like that. Everybody's welcome, guys. Everybody's welcome, and I encourage a diverse range of opinions, because you know what, the phrase diversity is our strength. It's kind of true, but it doesn't mean what people think it means. Like if I was sorry, let's go back to the analogy. So you're in the military, you're fighting a war. You need to deal with the threat right now. And the threat right now in the United Kingdom is protecting our children. Nothing else. Nothing else, guys. People need to protect our children and nothing else. Like, am I a bad person? I've said this so many times. Am I a bad person that I don't want to go to the beach and have to be scared of, the girls getting taken? Does that make me a bad person? I don't know. Right, I'm going to jump over to YouTube, guys. There's lots of comments jumping up on the YouTube. Endeavour to preserve is saying Catholic schools in the United States have no idea how to harden their soft targets. I think that school's all over the place, mate. I do. I think that school's all over the place. Tracy McKibben is saying, we are surprised they tried to take are we surprised? Sorry, they tried to take Trump out. Or did they? Or is it some sort of conspiracy? Look, guys, with the Trump incident, where the round went past his ear, like, we kind of forget that, don't we? Somebody had a pot shot at Trump. Like, to make that shot, like some people were saying, oh, it was a conspiracy. They made him shoot his ear. And like, guys, honestly, are you kidding me right now? So you're telling me, right, at 200-300 meters, you're going to tell someone, right, mate, I want you to shoot at Trump, just clip his ear. Like, who do they think he's got? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Like that Jackal character. Audrey Thompson is saying, I watched one there where in his spit. Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. I think she's responding to Lisa. Silly is saying, I don't agree with everything Ben Shapiro says, and I'm also Jewish. Yeah. So earlier I was talking. I saw. I was what again? Look, guys. Back to the UK. Right. People around the world now are starting to take notice on what's happening in the United Kingdom. Earlier on, I was talking about. I was watching. I don't know his name. It's like Ben Shapiro or Ben Shapiro. He's like. You know, he's like a little Jewish guy. He's all right. He's all right. You wouldn't want to get into an argument with him though, because he talks really fast. And you're like, mate, just like anyway. But you know, I think it was Fox News or something in the US, and he's actually talking and he's articulating what's happening in the United Kingdom, and he's doing it brilliantly. I mean, he did a brilliant job. He did an absolutely brilliant job. And he's talking about how like the Americans don't want that to happen there. But you know what, guys? I do see this happening in America very slowly, and I think people in America are sleepwalking into I think people are sleepwalking into this in America. Right. I'm going to get the last of the comments on YouTube, and then I'll jump over. Freddie on YouTube is saying Putin says Russia will achieve all its military aims in Ukraine if Ukraine does not agree a deal. Yeah, you know what, Freddie? I agree with that 100%. Like, right now, there's no way, like, the battlefield in Ukraine, there's no stopping that. No stopping it. And, like, I don't want to keep giving you guys old rope, but nothing is going to happen in Ukraine until the Russians get up to the River Dnipro. That is the reality of it, guys. That is the reality. And until that happens, and it's going to happen at some point because the Russians are moving forwards every day, there's going to be no such, there's going to be no such ceasefire or everything. Lord of Langwith is saying, Chinese military parade thoughts, watching all the leaders walking upstairs, sending big messages to us. I didn't listen, guys. I didn't see anything I was particularly impressed with the Chinese military. There's nothing there that's game changing. The Chinese military. There's nothing in that Chinese military parade that I saw that was a game changer. I mean, they've got vehicle mounted lasers now. The vehicle mounted lasers are really vulnerable to their hydraulics. You think about that laser, guys, all right? You think about like a little drone. I don't know. How big's a drone? How big's a drone? Like this big? I don't know. Think about one of those little quadcopters coming towards it, like maybe this big. You know, that's a small target to aim at 2 kilometers. So you have to have a very precise hydraulic system to aim that laser. Also, with that, you have to have a very good radar system. You have to have a passive radar and a targeting radar. So you have to have 2 radars. So the laser may be fantastic, but the surrounding ancillaries, that's what lets it down. And that's the only thing I really saw. Silly is saying, Sean, I love you, but you need to say a little Jewish man a bit of a Coldplay moment. I don't know what that means. He is small. He's small. He's about like, he's a short guy. He's a short guy, shall we say that? Listen, I wasn't throwing dirt on Ben. I thought what he said was brilliant. You know, what he was saying for the United Kingdom, especially for the United Kingdom, actually. In fact, you know what? Definitely for the United Kingdom. He was bringing things into American. He was letting people in America know just how bad the situation was in the United Kingdom. Freddie is saying Britain needs an Iron Dome to thwart Russia's missile threat. Listen, guys, if you've ever seen, I don't know if you guys have watched it, the Iron Dome over Israel. Now, when that thing was firing, like I think it was last year or the year before, and all the videos were out on social media, I showed that to my little girl, and my little girl, she said, "Is that real or is that a film?" Guys, look, and like for me, I've been in the military-industrial complex, and that sort of technology, it's just like fantastic. I mean, can you imagine being part of that project? And like, even if it's just a little chip that you produced, you know, even if it's just a little targeting chip, and you're watching your missiles go up, take out those incoming, you know, it's fantastic. But, you know, with all the best intent, guys, you know, these missile defense systems, they do get, with all the missile defense systems, these, these missiles do get, they do get through. They do get through, and the Russians have proved this massively. They have absolutely proved this massively. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm slightly going off topic because the chat, the comments are absolutely bonkers right now. I'm going to try and get some comments from. I'm not going to try. I am going to get comments from YouTube now, TikTok now. So, Ollie is saying China did look impressive. It didn't look impressive to me, guys. It really didn't. It didn't look impressive to me. A lot of the technology they were showing, it was old technology. It was old technology that the West have had a long time. So it didn't look impressive to me. The gentleman from Pakistan, I don't know what his name is, I'm just going to call him, saying China is advancing and the West isn't known. Okay, so I think I've answered that quite a few times. Yes, China is advancing, but the West is also advancing as well. And nothing I saw on China's new kit list, to me anyway, was impressive. Kaz is saying, I believe China will rise as the next superpower. I do as well, but not how you think. And I will come on to that after I've got these questions. Pure Islam. Hello, Pure Islam. That's a very provocative name, but you're welcome here, Pure Islam. Is saying the elites are pushing the agenda of transhumanism and the New World Order. Listen, it will be difficult to argue with that, both technologically and militarily. Yeah, okay. Pure Islam is saying one government and one religion. Listen, wait till the aliens get here. Wait till the aliens get here in September. Sorry, and wait till the aliens get here in at Halloween. We're all going to have a wake-up call. Pure Islam is saying China and Russia are Gog and Magog, or Zhuge and Mazhuge in the Arabic accent. User 974 is saying, with respect, please, we are listening to you all the time. Everyone knows China is a superpower. Yeah, look, guys, China is a superpower. All right, and I will come on. I will address that in a second. So let me address that in a second. Sean, right, I'm gonna have to jump to the bottom, guys. I do apologize. There's far too many comments for me to get through. Pure Islam again is saying, would the word alien means Leon on some? I don't know what that means. Google it is saying imam charged after children married in mosque Northampton. Look, guys, whatever your background is, whatever your religion is, whatever your faith is, all right, can we all just agree that child marriage is evil? Can we just all agree that with that? Can we all just agree with that? Can we all be big enough? Can we all just be big enough to agree that child marriage is satanic? And if you're into child marriage, can we just have a consensus, guys? All right. Do we think child marriage is rock and roll or satanic? What do we think, guys? Like, I'm on the satanic part of it. Like, I saw a clip earlier, and I didn't share it because I don't know how much credibility it had in it. You've got to be careful what you share. I don't want to get Lucy Conlid, but I'll tell you the clip. And again, I'll caveat. I don't know how much. It's the reason I didn't share it. There was like this young girl, and she looked younger than 12, and she was holding a baby. And the caption, and there was a guy stroking her head, and the caption said, like, the caption said something like, when you're 46 and your child bride at 12 gives birth to her first child or something. Honestly, guys, I was absolutely raging. About it, but I don't know if that's true or not. What I do know with 100% certainty, what I do know in those parts of the world, they do have very peculiar cultures involving young boys, involving young girls. I've seen that with my own eyes, guys. anybody who says yada, 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 Sean, you're making it up, it's fake news. No, I've seen that with my own eyes, and I've seen a lot worse. I could go on, but the live would get broke. The live would get, the live would get taken down. So anyway, guys, so yeah, let's just all agree with what Googly just said there. That child marriage is wrong, and it should I don't think there's any place for it in the civilized world anyway. Guys, the chats are going crackers at the moment. Right, ladies and gentlemen, let me get back on track. Okay, right, ladies and gentlemen. Listen, I'm looking at this chat, and I'm looking at that chat, and I'm looking at the videos I've got to go through, and I'm looking at the time, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get through it. Right, the crux of this live stream, was ex-British Prime Minister is calling for a Trump-style revolution in the United Kingdom. The weight of media input into the United Kingdom from the United States, or vice versa, actually, is insane, guys. It's insane. Like, people from the United States are watching, and I've been saying this for a long time. I mean, I've got lots of friends in America, most of them in Texas, and they're saying to me, Sean, what is happening? Oh, hang on, I may have had a text message from said gentleman. So this is happening now, and we are going to see that Anglosphere. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you've seen it before, the Anglosphere. The Anglosphere is going to be Britain, Ireland. So Britain, Scotland, England, Wales, Ireland, and Northern Ireland, Greenland, America, Canada. I'm going to say Israel. I'm going to say Australia. I'm going to say New Zealand. I'm also going to say Taiwan and Japan. They're all going to be like one block. That's going to be one block. And when one of the comments on TikTok was saying, one of the comments on TikTok was saying China is going to be the next superpower, and I was saying I agree, but if they get involved militarily, I think that's going to scupper their chances. Nobody can beat America. I don't think people understand how powerful the US military is. And I'm saying this as a Brit. People don't understand the brute force of the US military. It's phenomenal. It's huge. The United States Air Force is the biggest air force in the world by a factor of 10. You know who the second biggest air force is? The US Navy. All right. So, air power, nobody even comes close. And I mean, not even close. The US can accept and, to lose a ton of aircraft, but they will take down all your air, they will take down all your air defenses, they'll take down all the air defenses, they'll saturate your country. Once air superiority is gained, that's when you bring in the infantry. And ladies and gentlemen, it's game over. It's game over. You can't deal with that. And I know some of you guys may have watched, I don't know, some of you guys, you may be Muslim, and you may think that Allah will protect you. He ain't going to protect you. He ain't going to protect you guys from an F-22. He ain't going to protect you from an AC-130. It's just not going to happen, all right? And I mean that with the most respect. I really do. I really do mean that with the most respect. You ain't going to get protected from an AC-130 raining down bombs and bullets from 2,000 feet in the air. It's just not going to happen, guys. And that's what happens when you get air superiority. So, people forget how powerful the US military is. Sorry, guys. Let me... Right, the chat's going crazy. I do apologize. Kim Moss. Oh, in fact, James. In fact, King Ray. In fact, no. All right, okay. Oh, and somebody Lulswell, thank you for subscribing, Lulswell. Thank you so much. You're a 10-month subscriber, so I know you're going to be a powerful contributor to this channel. James is saying absolutely demonic, and I think that's in response to what we were saying about child marriage. It's sick, guys. It's absolutely sick. Kim Moss is saying dark and pure evil. It's a cultural thing. It's disgusting. I agree, guys. I agree. No, but like no child should have to marry. Like, can you like, honestly, like, you know, our girls are like 11 and 12, and you know, as a father, it's very difficult to watch and to see these things happening and think that could be my daughter. You know, if my daughter was born in a different part of the world, she might be getting married to a 40-year-old guy. And that sounds bad in itself, but then you have to think there's 40-year-old men out there who want to marry like 12-year-old girls. That's the thing, guys. That tell me I'm wrong. Please tell me I'm wrong. Somebody out there, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me that this doesn't happen. Tell me, oh no, Sean, there's no such thing as a 40-year-old man finding that happens, guys. That happens. Pure Islam is saying America and other countries were marrying children. Wicked. Where are Americans marrying children? I don't know. Listen, I've got a lot of American friends, you know, a lot of ex-military guys who are my friends. I met them in the military. I met them working as a contractor. You know, and American values are pretty much identical to British values. Maybe a little bit more extreme. They do better barbecues. They can't drink as much, but that's just the way it goes. You know, not everybody's identical. So I don't know. In certain states of America, right? Hang on a minute. I want to get to the bottom of this. Right. Pure Islam. In what state of America is child marriage legal? Because I think I'm calling you BS. I'm calling BS on this. No. It's only legal in the United Kingdom. It's only legal in the United Kingdom when it's done in Sharia courts in secret. So I'm calling BS. I don't believe pure Islam. Serious question, mate. What state in America is child marriage legal? I'll wait. I will wait. And Rose is saying it's true. Are we being serious now, guys? Are we being serious? In America, are there some states in America that certain states allow it in the United? Well, it's got to be California. It's got to be California. Right. Listen, I've divided opinion. I've divided opinion on the chat and on the YouTube as well. All the chat's going crazy now, guys. All the chat is going crazy. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I come on these live streams. I never know what I'm going to get. I will always go with what you guys are talking about. So listen, guys, and I'm being honest. You know what? Let's ask AI. Right. Everybody, we will ask the Oracle. Let's ask the Oracle. I'm going to get put on some watch list, aren't I? I'm going straight on some watch list now. Is child marriage legal in any states of America? Next thing, flight, you know, booking flights. Right. Okay. Hang on. So child marriage in the US is classed as anyone under 18. Right. Okay. So anyone under 18, if you get like in the UK, I think you can. Listen, I don't know if you guys know this, but I think you can get married in the UK at 16. We're on Wikipedia now. Let's have a look. Child marriage defined by the United Nations as a marriage at which at least one party is under the age of 18 occurs legally in the United States. The US is the only UN member that has not yet ratified. Wow. Okay. Right, listen, guys. Okay. Child marriage is legal in 34 states of America. No. 16 states have banned with no exception. The first one was Delaware. Right. I think we need to put this into context, though. I think we need to put this into context. All right. Everything's about context, guys. Okay. So I don't look, guys, I don't want to dwell on this. But what I'm talking about now is a 40-year-old dude marrying a 12-year-old girl. To me, that's child marriage. If there's two 16-year-olds or 17-year-olds and they're like, yeah, we love each other, we want to get married, like that is a different. Hang on, am I still streaming? I think I am. So I think that's a different. I think that's a different beast, you know, to like a 40-year-old dude marrying a like 12-year-old girl. I don't see these things as connected, guys. You know, I don't think these things are connected. I really don't. But anyway, guys, let's not dwell. Do you know why? Because an ex-British Prime Minister has said that she wants a Trump-style revolution in the United Kingdom, guys. All right, we've got Angela Rayner now. Angela Rayner, look, guys, I don't want her to go. What am I going to do for content if she goes? I mean, can you imagine if Angela Rayner goes and I can't, and like nobody, and I'm doing Angela Rayner impressions and nobody cares? Right, quick comment from the Watchman who's on YouTube, who's got a fantastic picture of a pigeon. What a beautiful pigeon it is as well. It's a real good pigeon. It's got red eyes. It's a little bit intimidating, but it's a good pigeon. So the Watchman is saying, Greta Thunberg has Jimmy Savile haircut. Have you seen it? I have, yeah. I have seen Greta Thunberg. I thought it was AI at first. I did. Wacky Willie is saying child marriage is illegal in the United States. 16 and 17 with court approval. Thank you, Wacky Willie. This is what I wanted. Thank you, Wacky Willie, with a picture of a gentleman, a robot gentleman with like an AK variant assault rifle. Wacky Willie over on YouTube is putting everybody straight, guys. This is what I wanted to hear. Wacky Willie is saying, with his Wacky Willie, that's his name on YouTube, guys. It's not me. Child marriage is illegal in the States. Thank Odin. Thank Odin's eye. Thank Odin's eye, guide, and the beard of Zeus. Child marriage is illegal in the United States. 16 and 17 years with a court approval, which under the UN's charter would still class as child marriage. In a select few, like you said, completely different to what's going on with a certain subsect of the population. Yeah, guys, we need to differentiate these, right? So where some people say, child marriage is happening in America. Like, I don't know any dudes in America. Like, it may be happening, I don't know. And all the American guys I know, they certainly wouldn't want to be they certainly wouldn't want to be rolling with 16. They certainly wouldn't want to be rolling with, I mean, guys, look, they're kids. At 12-year-old, you're still a kid. You know, you've still got like they're still like at 12 years old, they still wear Pokemon socks. You know, like they're not, it's sick. It's sick. But anyway, yeah, that's what we're talking about, guys. I think we need to differentiate child marriage between under 18, where two under 18s are getting married, which I don't know. I mean, listen, guys, let's just put that into context, all right? When I was 18, I was a junior commander in the military. I was in charge of firearms, guns, bombs, bullets, grenades. I had 4 people who had to do exactly what I said. And sometimes we had to put bayonets on and do really bad stuff. So I don't know. Are we saying that I'm old enough to do that, but I wasn't old enough to marry though? It doesn't make sense. So I totally get it. You know, I do. I totally get it, guys. I think that's totally fine. We need to differentiate between the two. Sorry, guys. We went on massively then, didn't we, about child marriage? You know what? I think that's quite rightly so. Hang on, guys. Give me a second. I need to click something on the screen. K-Ring is saying, just stop believing in Santa. I don't know what that even means. I don't even know what that means. Just stop believing in Santa. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, right? I don't know about you, but I actually saw Santa. Well, I heard him once, actually. It was 10 o'clock. 'Twas the night before Christmas. Not a creature was stirring. Not even a mouse. Raven was laid in bed with daughter in arm. And the night was black. And the clouds were thick. And honestly, I don't know what this was. Seriously, I do think we heard. I do think we heard Father Christmas not last year, but the year before. He was traveling east to west, and you know, I 100 like Father Christmas is real, and I will have words with anybody who says otherwise. Jasmine Khan, hello, Jasmine Khan, is saying, "What's today's topic?" Right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go through this again, and then I am going to jump over to YouTube. Look, some of these live streams, I get on here and I can go through what I've got planned on my tabs. I've just not had a chance today because you guys have been going absolutely crackers. Like, you guys have been going absolutely crackers. You've been going absolutely crackers. So today's topic was, and I think we have covered everything. The ex-British Prime Minister Liz Truss, I was going to say Liz Hurley then, Liz Truss has called for a Trump-style revolution in the United Kingdom. Also, 7 members of a German political party have mysteriously died just before the election. I don't know, guys. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe they all ate something at a party and it all went wrong. Maybe they've been having Russian tea. I don't know. But it sounds very peculiar to me. Also, we've been talking about the what's next for what's the name? Angela Rayner. You know, what's next for Angela Rayner? Does look like she may be getting thrown to the wolves. It does. That politics is a dirty game, guys. So right now, everybody wants a little piece of Labour. So I do think they're going to throw Angela Rayner to the wolves. I think they're going to throw her to the wolves, guys. And again, like, how many times have we seen Angela Rayner? It's one rule for them and one rule for everybody else. We're working class people, us. I'm not educated, me. I'll just sign bits of paper. No, I don't know what it says because I can't read. I were up duff at 16. Like, you know, so like, I honestly, guys, I want Angela Rayner to keep her job. I really do. I hope she keeps her job. I hope she keeps it for a long time. And I hope she earns a lot of money because, look, let's face it. She ain't getting a job anywhere else, is she? Oh, hang on. I think somebody just subscribed. Hang on. Paige Butler, thank you for your subscription, Paige Butler. And thank you to all the subscribers as well, guys. Thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. I really do. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to close this down now on TikTok. I'm going to keep the live chat going over on YouTube. And listen, when we're over on YouTube, it's going to get weird. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You guys that are on YouTube right now, you may want to turn it off, all right? Because it's going to get weird. We're going to be talking about interdimensional aliens. We're going to be talking about mesh timing. We're going to be talking about consciousness. And we're going to be talking about how this all affects our reality. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the Real Raven 1 on YouTube. I'm the Real Raven 1 on X. And I am the Real Raven 1 on TikTok as well, which you guys are watching on. So I will see you over there, I hope. And if I don't, ladies and gentlemen, I will see you guys tomorrow morning at 10. And I'm going now. I'll be over on TikTok, YouTube. And we are off. We are off. We are on. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to lie to you. It's going to get weird. I want 2 dragons. Give me a second, guys, because I do need to click some buttons on the screen once this goes off. Oh, maybe I don't. Yeah, I do. That one. Give me a second, guys. Do that. Oh, I can't do that. They've all swizzled. Oh, that's not good. Right, close that. Close that. Right, we're on. We are on, ladies and gentlemen. We are on like Donkey Kong. Hang on, Lincolnshire Templar. What if listen, everybody, can everybody look at their screens and look at Lincolnshire Templar's thumbnail? That is a fantastic thumbnail. Lincolnshire Templar is saying, disgusting fact, there is no age of consent instance. The courts are packed with the cases. In what context are we talking about there? Greticles is saying it's more like two teens can marry. Yeah. So yeah. So look, guys, I think we're all under agreement that child marriage is absolutely vile. It's disgusting. Like there are no words on the tongues of elves or men to describe how vile child marriage is. And when I mean child marriage, I mean like a 40-year-old dude marrying like a 12-year-old girl. Like that, it's just fucking disgusting. It is. It's like yeah. These videos, you keep seeing these videos online. I keep seeing them, and like, I don't know if they're credible or not. Obviously, you can't tell just by looking at that video. So I don't want to share it. And I don't want to talk about it because I genuinely don't know if it's real or not. I don't know if it's like some girls poolie, like the 12-year-old girls poolie, and the mum and dad have come in and they've put the little sister on the belly. And I don't know if that may be the case. In my Western mind, I want that to be the case. That's what I want. I want that to be the case. I don't want to have to think about the other way that scenario gets into place. Lisa Jane is saying, Sean, have you seen the two reporters who have come forward stating that over 2 years they have found out that £7 billion has been paid by ministers encouraging migration? Do you know what? I've not seen that, but it doesn't surprise me. Because remember, Keir Starmer, he says this, Keir Starmer and the government, they say they're starting phase 2. So phase 1 has clearly been a success. And it doesn't surprise me. Look, guys, we are, and let me just, where did that go? Sorry. So ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, you know, you can trace all this back. And I don't think people would be like, that light needs to be moving. I don't think people like, would you be angry? I know I wouldn't. I wouldn't be angry at all. Would you be angry would you be angry if migrants coming to the United Kingdom were helping? I mean, I'm not seeing them helping. In my eyes, I'm not seeing them helping. Would you be angry if like they were waving union flags and saying, thank you, Britain, thank you for taking us, thank you so much, you've saved us, you know? Like, I wouldn't like, I'd be like, yeah, do you know what? That's cool. I'm cool with that. You know, I have no issues with that. But the fact is, that's not what the reality is on the ground. And let me just quickly, like, I've worked at this. Listen, guys, I grew up in Rotherham, right, in the 90s. I did. I grew up in Rotherham in the 90s. So, like, nobody can tell me, like, how bad these things can get really quickly. I've lived through it. I've also been to the Middle East, and I've met with really intelligent Muslims, you know, really kind, softly spoken, well-mannered, you know, and you're like, oh, you know, but the contrast is ridiculous. So like, what you've got to understand is the political class who've been born with a silver spoon in their mouth, they only get exposure to these, to the well-spoken, softly spoken, well-dressed, kind, articulate Muslims. Right? That's the only exposure they have to Muslims. That's it. So they are going to think, oh yes, Islam is the religion of peace, and it's oh yes, and it's our own prejudices that are holding them against us. If you grew up in Rotherham in the 90s, you kind of have a different opinion. If you grew up in, I don't listen, guys. I don't know how many people grew up in Rotherham in the 90s and had a career like I did, doing at diplomatic level all over the world, all over the Middle East, and got to speak and understand the culture the way I did. So it's very difficult, you know, it's not difficult actually. I can see both sides of these arguments, and I can see how this argument develops and how tensions grow. I can, you know, but ultimately, I think everybody just wants to have their kids safe. I like that is it. Bottom line, people want to feel safe with their kids. Lisa is saying, I think migrants know why they are here. That's why they aren't allowed to speak to the hotel inspectors. I don't, Lisa Jane. I don't think the migrants know why they're here. I think they are pawns in a game that they do not understand. Debbie Doobs is saying, think the southern states of America were at it years back. I don't know what that means, Debbie Doobs. Can you give more context to that? I may have missed your previous message. I like chips. I like AI. All right, okay, she responded to another one. Muhammad was 50 when he married Aisha, according to Islam, and he was the perfect man. Yeah, this is one of the, like, you know, so like, and you get like, you've seen these people, you know, when they go out on the streets and they say like, it's like you always catch a Muslim out like this. You say, so Muhammad was perfect, right? And he's like, yeah, Muhammad was the perfect man. He was absolutely fantastic. And then they're like, so who did he marry and how old? And they're like, oh God, I can't believe you. You outsmarted me with logic. You outsmarted me with logic and facts. How dare you? You must be a... That's the thing now, isn't it? You outsmarted me with logic and facts. You must be a right-wing racist. But yeah, you know, it's like the whole, like, there's lots of stuff in the Quran that's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. A lot of the stuff that's stolen from the Bible as well. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but obviously the Bible, Christianity came first. You know, and Islam came like hundreds of years afterwards. And a lot of the stories in the Bible are replicated in the Quran. From Now is saying it's a Christian country, should stay a Christian country without all these parasites. Oh, strong words there. I mean, yeah, it's difficult to think like, it's difficult to positively put mass migration. Like when you were saying that, so From Now I was just saying there, it's a Christian country, it should stay a Christian country. Do you go to church? Do you go to church? First of all, I think more people should go to church. So From Now is saying, it's a Christian country, should stay a Christian country without all these parasites. Now, I wanted to give some sort of like throwback or pushback against that, but it's very difficult. And again, you know, it's very difficult to say that people come in here and not come in here for a free ride. I mean, can you imagine, right? Listen, guys, can you imagine, right? Second World War, all right? And you can argue whether this is, you can argue whatever, just go with it, all right? Second World War, Jews fleeing Germany, right? So the Jews are fleeing Germany because they're fleeing persecution, you know, and they managed to find themselves in the United Kingdom. Oh, right, come to the United, we're fine, yeah, we're fine, yeah. Oh, no, just go in those hotels, we'll sort it out, don't worry about it, yeah. And then after, like, when it gets to Christmas, like, could you imagine if, like, people, like, if the Jewish people were saying to the government, yeah, can we just nip back over to Germany for a holiday? It's Christmas. I want to go and see my family. Like, it wouldn't happen. Like, and that's what's happening in the United Kingdom. I don't know if you guys know or not, but like a lot of people who are claiming asylum in the United Kingdom, they go home at holidays. So like Christmas, Easter, whatever, you know, they go back to the country they're fleeing to have a holiday, you know, to visit friends and families. So like, I don't think you can have it both ways, guys. I don't think you can have it both ways. I think you're either fleeing persecution, whereby you will take refuge wherever you can, or you kind of just want a holiday and some nice dinners. I don't know. Which one is it? Donna Albison, hello Donna Albison, is saying, my daughter started her first day in year 10 and her second lesson of the day was to learn about Islam and the religion in an RE lesson, which I think was wrong as she is Catholic. So, again, so is it wrong? Is it wrong? Listen, I'm just playing devil's advocate here, Donna. Like, is it wrong to learn about other religions in a religious lesson? I don't know. What I will say though is, you know how we all think schools are going woke. I'll tell you now, guys. Our eldest, you know, she came back and I was like, right, what are you doing today at school? And she said, oh, we started to read a book. I said, all right, what book was it? She said, guess. So straight away, I knew it was one of the books I'd made her read. So I'm going through the books, and she said, no, it was George Orwell's Animal Farm. I said, oh, wow, was it? And I'd already made my daughter read George Orwell's Animal Farm to understand the perils of socialism. And it was really interesting talking to her eldest daughter, because she was talking about the conversation they were having at school. And I'll tell you guys, it wasn't a woke conversation, you know, and I was like, wow, I'm really happy with that, because I'm always worried about what they teach at schools, and I'm always worried that I have to like when the girls come home, I will have to re-educate them myself. Excuse me. Islam came 600 years after Islam. I don't know what that means. Islam came 600 years after Islam. I don't know what that means. But Judaism came first. I don't know. Maybe it did. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it was Christianity. Listen, what I can say is, I think all religions stem from the Epic of Gilgamesh, which is Sumerian text, which is modern day Baghdad. And if you want to look into that, ladies and gentlemen, and go down a real deep rabbit hole, go and read the Book of Enoch. Now, the Book of Enoch is, I'm trying to shorten this. So the Book of Enoch is, a book that was taken out of the Bible. And in the Book of Enoch, it talks about giants coming down, having children with mortal wives, and it's just carnage, guys. Like, the whole world is carnage, and that's why the flood comes. That's why the people above, the watchers or whatever, they decide to have a big flood. But that perfectly relates to aliens, Anunnaki, all sorts of crazy stuff. So it kind of makes sense why that'd be taken out of the Bible. Jim is saying people of color will leave Europe when Europeans leave Canada and Jim, I hope you're going to calm down now, mate. I hope you're going to calm down. Right. Jim, you're being rude again. Right, Jim, I'm going to answer this comment. Right. I am going to answer this comment. You're being rude. All right. Jim, first of all, why do you want, Jim, I don't want anybody of color to leave the United Kingdom. I don't care. And that's my honestly, I don't care that black, brown, orange, yellow, green, blue people are in my country. Now, if you're worried and if you want Canada, America, Australia, Uruguay, Paraguay, Argentina, New Zealand. If you want all those countries basically to be black, kind of makes you a racist, mate. That's the reality. So, Jim, what you've just said there, I don't know if you know it, but that's massively racist. It's fine. You probably don't know you're being racist, and that's fine. I get that. But what I would say is I wouldn't go to South Africa and want South Africans to treat me any differently. I wouldn't go to Israel and want Israelis to treat me any differently. I wouldn't go to Dominican Republic and want them to treat me any differently. I wouldn't go to Brazil, Mexico. Like, what I'm saying is like, we have cultures in different parts of the world, and that's what makes them beautiful. That's what makes it beautiful. You know, like I've spent a lot of time in Kenya. I've spent maybe, well, I guess not a lot of time, maybe like 5-6 months in Kenya, in a place called Naivasha. So I like, you know, that African culture. I like that African culture. It's cool. You know, it's cool. You know, beating drums and going for beers and dancing and having what's the beer? Tusker. I think it's Tusker, the beer. You know, so I like African culture. And I think Africans like African culture. So keep African culture in Africa, you know, keep Middle Eastern culture in the Middle East. Can we keep British culture in Britain? Is that a thing? Are we allowed to do that? Or do you want to and it's not got anything to do with the color of people's skin, mate. What you're saying is massively racist. So I'm just going to leave it there, mate. Please just don't tell me to fuck off again. All right. Because it's a bit rude and you're being massively racist, but I'll leave you with it for now. I'll let you off. I'll let you off on a warning, mate. Tracy McKibben is saying the Irish hang on a minute, silly. Who crucified Jesus? Right? Listen, I don't know if these things happen, but silly's saying Jesus was Jewish, right? Surely Jesus was a Christian. Come on, silly. Can we not just agree that Jesus was a Christian? Can we not agree that Jesus? Look, guys, I don't want to get religious, right? Can we not just agree that Jesus? Can we just agree that he was Jesus was Christian? Tracy McKibben is saying the Irish government have been sending envoys all summer to encourage migration to the point they have told 32,000 Irish nursing students they have no job. Wow, I didn't realize that. That's phenomenal. James is saying, I love having different cultures in the UK. I think it's great. If your beliefs are hostile and violent, then go. Yeah, and this really is the problem, isn't it? I think we kind of encapsulate this. You know, I think we can encapsulate this in that statement there. You know, like we've had lots of different cultures in the United Kingdom, and there's never been a problem until recently. And I do believe this is being forced upon us, guys. I do. Donna is saying Jesus was born of a Jewish mother in Galilee, a Jewish part of the world. All of his friends and associates and colleagues and disciples were all right, guys. I don't know. I mean, was it even real? Was there really a guy called Jesus who turned water into wine? I don't know. Look, guys, let's get back on track. All right. British Prime Minister calling for a Trump-style revolution. In the United States, mainstream media are now starting to talk about what's happening in the United Kingdom with such affinity, really articulating it well, how difficult things are for people in the United Kingdom. Liberals in the United Kingdom are starting to, the penny's starting to drop, with liberal United Kingdom. They're starting to think, oh, right, well, if they could get arrested, maybe I could get arrested. And also 7 people of the AfD in Germany have miraculously, suspiciously transcended into a beam of light. So, like, I don't know, what is all that about, ladies and gentlemen? Why did all those people transcend to a beam of light? Is that not suspicious to anyone? It's certainly suspicious to me. Sorry. Stephen Murray is saying, I was in the BNP Scotland 25 years ago as a teen. I warned you all. Race is a genetic fact. 99% of all inventions have been made by light-skinned races, i.e. Jews, whites, and North Asians. I say that all the time. In fact, I think there was a guy on before, and he was saying, you know, I want to go back to my homeland, and you can keep your atom bomb. I was like, right, okay. What else are we going to keep? MRI machines. We're going to keep MRI machines. Airplanes. We're going to keep airplanes. What else? What else? Internal combustion engine. Physics. We're going to keep physics because, like, you know, physics is literally, you know, Isaac Newton. He was the OG of physics. Everything else comes from Isaac Newton. What else are we going to keep? You know, and it's just silly. You know, it's silly. Phil Q is saying Jesus wasn't Christian. He was right. Okay, guys. I listen, ladies and gentlemen. We've got bigger issues at hand than right, guys. We've got bigger issues at hand. Right, it's all going off today, guys. It's all going off. It's all going off today. Was Jesus a Christian or was he Jewish? I don't know. I think I'm going to have to read the Bible. I'm going to have to read the Bible and get some. And Tracy Dole is saying, and then the Jews crucified him. How ironic. Stephen Murray is saying, why does the most successful race need 1 billion brown? Oh, guys, that is massively racist. Stephen Murray, okay, so here's the thing, Stephen Murray, right? Okay, so let's just real quick. Okay, so Stephen Murray, like what you're saying is massively racist, all right? I'm not going to go on that. What I'm going to say is I'm going to answer the question, you know, even though it's massively racist. What I'll say is if you look at the financial system that we have now, it's broken, all right? So we need more spenders. So if we are going to start to introduce universal basic income, digital ID, whereby you have to spend so much money every month, then it makes sense. The more people you've got, mindless spenders, or do you know what, not even mindless spenders, just spenders, you know, that starts the economy moving. Because don't forget, universal basic income will be, you can only spend that money within that 1 month time period. So at the end of that month, it'll reset again. You won't get to keep that money to the next month. You won't be able to save that money. That's how universal basic income will work. So the more people you've got working on using universal basic income, spending on universal basic income, the bigger that economic trading block is going to be. Look, I could go deeper into this, talk about how we are in late stage capitalism, whereby all the industries, all the corporations, they're owned by a few oligarch corporations, and they run everything. So you try and start a business up right now, it's impossible. You can't do it because we're in late stage democracy. We are in late stage democracy as well. Late stage capitalism. Now, once you're in late stage capitalism, capitalism is going to fall unless you have a new system, which is what I think is coming. Right, ladies and gentlemen, listen, guys, I am going to leave this down now. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to close this down now. You guys have been fantastic. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 8, I think. What day is it? Yeah, I think I will be. Yes, I will. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 8. If I'm not at 8, I'm waffling about. I'm on at 8 at night. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10. Listen, guys, nobody can deny that we are in wild times here in the United Kingdom. Like right now in the United Kingdom, I feel it is ground zero to whatever gets panned out to the rest of the world. Now, whether that's digital IDs, microchips, universal basic income, it's going to happen here in the United Kingdom. And everybody's watching. Be under no illusion, ladies and gentlemen, the world is watching what's happening in the United Kingdom. People are feeling what is happening in the United Kingdom because they know that could happen to them at any time. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to close this down now. I'll be back on later on. I'll be back on tomorrow morning at 10 and 8 o'clock in the evening. I'll see you tomorrow. And good night to everyone.